Okay, we're ready for history. Whew, our last subject of the day, Friday, April 3rd. Today we're going to start on page 323. We're going to go over the comprehension check of Booker T. Washington. If you haven't done it yet, grab a pencil so that we can fill it in. Make sure you're keeping up. And we're going to start Theodore Roosevelt, page 324 to the top of 326. Just introduce him a little bit, and so we're ready to study him next week. Okay? So let's look at page 323. Name 2 things Mr. Washington did to help the people in Malden. 2 things. I'm going to read more than 2, but you can just jot 2 down. Started a school, held a Sunday school, taught ways to plant, how to repair cabins, and taught them to read and write. And just remember, if this is on a quiz or a test and it asks for 2 and you can give me more, that's extra credit. So just be sure that you're, keeping those things in mind. It wasn't just 2 things he did. There was a lot more. The question's only asking for 2. Number 2, which town in Alabama wanted Booker T. Washington to take charge of a school? Tuskegee. That's right. Number 3, why did Mr. Washington teach his students to grow their own crops, make their own bricks, and build their own buildings? To help others. That's right. To teach them to help others and to help them find jobs. That's right. Number 4, according to Booker T. Washington, who are the happiest people? Those that do the most for others. That's right. When you do something for someone, it makes you feel good. To see the smile on their face and the appreciation, it's a good feeling. You're helping someone, and it helps you on the inside. It gives you joy. It gives you happiness to help someone else. So that is the end of our story, of our lesson, our study of Booker T. Washington. Just remembering from him hard work, diligence, just keeping those, as we're looking back. He always had a positive attitude. He just loved, when he came to that school and he saw they had to hold the umbrella, he didn't quit. He didn't give up. Bought the farm. They had to work. He just didn't say, hey, you didn't tell me it was going to be this hard. I'm going back home. He stayed and he persevered. So learning those good Christian qualities from him of working hard, determination, that character, that good character. And when we look at the picture on page 322, he's a happy looking man. He has joy on his face. The men that are sitting and they're listening to him, his presence was just there. So we will come back at some point and quiz on Booker T. Washington. So let's move on now to chapter 33, Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt. Okay? Let's check out his, creeping on into the 1900s here. He died in 1919. He was born in 1858. All right, 9 minus 8 is 1. Can't say 1 minus 5, so the 9 becomes an 8. The 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 5 is 6. 61 years old when he passed away. All right, so let's look at our timeline here of important events. Theodore Roosevelt was born just prior to the Civil War. He was born in 1858, prior to Lincoln becoming president. So if you can think about this, associate these 2 political figures kind of in the same time. He was born in 1858. Theodore's childhood. Young Theodore Roosevelt longed to spend his days exploring in the woods near him, but the disease of asthma kept him inside. Since he could not catch his breath easily, he was homeschooled and spent much of his extra time reading. Finally, Theodore's asthma improved, and he spent long summer days outdoors. Sometimes he brought snakes and frogs into the house from his adventures outside. When he was 9 years old, he even wrote a book about the insects he had found. Look at this. Theodore opened his hands to show his sister a large beetle. Get that thing away from me, Teety, Anna yelled. You know I don't like to touch your bugs. When Theodore was 13 years old, he began having trouble seeing clearly and started wearing glasses. These glasses did not look like glasses people wear today. They were 2 lenses that pinched on his nose. He wore the same type of glasses his entire life. So if you look back at the picture on page 324, you can see those. They just sat up there. They didn't have the pieces that would hook over the ears. Theodore's father challenged him to exercise to help his body become strong. They built a home gym together where Theodore lifted weights and exercised. He disciplined himself to work hard and strengthen his body. He especially enjoyed hiking and climbing mountains, no matter how hard it was. Important words here: reformer, a person who changes something for the better; square deal, a plan Theodore Roosevelt put into places to control big businesses' packaging of food and conserving national landmarks. Important names: Theodore Roosevelt, the youngest man to become president of the United States; William McKinley, president with whom Theodore Roosevelt served as vice president; and the Rough Riders, a group of volunteers led by Theodore Roosevelt who fought in the Spanish-American War in Cuba. So looking back at this page as a review, what did Theodore Roosevelt write when he was 9 years old? A book. That's right, a book about insects he had found. And we talked about his first pair of glasses. They just kind of sat on his nose, pinched on his nose there. And then we learned that Theodore's father wanted him to challenge himself to be fit. So he started lifting weights. Man, people have been lifting weights for a long time, haven't they? This was in the 1800s, and it's 2020, and it is still probably more popular than ever. So let's look at the top of page 326, and then guess what? We're going to call it a day. When he finished his homeschooling, Theodore went to Harvard College. Then he studied law at Columbia University, where he met and married his wife, Alice. Theodore Roosevelt was interested in government and decided he would go into politics. So that's where we're going to stop for today. On Monday, we will start with life and politics and kind of go through his later life, okay? And read about that. So that's all for history today. So as we are finishing up our day, I just want to tell you thank you for the hard week of work that you've put in. Let's continue to pray for each other. Pray for me as I'm, posting our videos. Sometimes my things aren't going right. I'm out of storage. It's something. So just say a prayer for me. I've been praying for you. I know you guys have been working hard. I certainly miss you. Oh, I miss you so much. Ready to be able to see you and go back to school soon. As we're finishing today, please, 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 please take this time today to go back and look over anything that you haven't finished up. We want to try to finish in this week before we go into another week. We don't want to start a week, try not to, behind. So, don't just say, oh, Miss Upchurch said I'm done for the day. I'm finished. We're finished with today's lessons, but please, if there are pages that you need to get to me, just sit down and do them. Have someone send me a picture so that we don't get further and further behind as we go. But you guys are working hard. I appreciate your moms and dads and grandmas and whoever's there with you, helping you, answering questions, sending me pictures. This is a team effort. What do we say? Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So I appreciate you. I hope you have a great weekend. If there's anything I can help you with, have someone send me a text. I just don't understand this. Let me know and we'll do what we need to do to get you caught up. But again, I hope you have a great Friday. Have a great weekend. Look for videos posted on Monday, and we'll get started again Monday morning. Have a great weekend, guys. I miss you and I love you.